This week I've been thinking a lot about script writing. I've been watching a lot of Curb Your Enthusiasm. It wasn't until I was about 16 I started becoming interested in what script writing actually is, formally. I'd kind of become super interested in how to structure a story in a way that was really satisfying, the way that Curb does, where everything folds in on itself. Like Chekhov's gun on, fire. That was so cool to me. So I wanted to have a go. When I was about 18, a short film script I'd written called The Party was selected to be made for BBC Wales through some scheme, and I was like, okay, I guess maybe I actually can do this. And so yeah, I have basically not stopped writing screenplays since. I'm usually writing maybe a couple of things in the background, which leads us to 2019. I started writing this TV show set in Wrexham. I was kind of pouring everything into it. I was like, okay, no, I've got it. The idea is good, really good, and the people I know and the inspiration I've got is great. Let's do this. 2020 had the opportunity to apply for some development funding, which would then help the project move forward. I'd be able to, rewrite the draft, be able to work with a script editor to formally work on things like the structure and the dialogue and get them to a point where we feel like it's great. And then also work with a line producer to do things like produce a proper budget, a schedule, maybe an overview of the whole series, so that if we do get the opportunity to pitch to broadcasters, which is the ideal scenario, we have this package which we can be like, hey, here's this thing, it's really good, that's it, look at it. So I've been producing this period of development. This weekend, I'm going through what is kind of the end of it. We've got the line producer who's going to put the final touches to this thing, and then, yeah, it's kind of ready for that yes or no moment, I guess, if I can get it to a pitch or something. And that's a big moment, because I've been thinking about this for a long time. Hey, it's Rob. Hey. So basically you've just gone on about script writing. So is there possibly anything valuable you've learned from years of doing that? I like to spend a lot of time in the world before I write anything. I mean, usually I do this by having like a playlist of music or something, or some images, some artwork that I find inspirational, and when I see it or when I'm listening to it, I can kind of zone out and almost daydream and exist in this world that I'm imagining. For characters, sometimes to kind of get into that headspace, maybe it's useful to do things like personality tests, really see who they are. And then also try and have a different way that each one of them speaks. Try and think in their voice as you're typing out their dialogue. Structure. I do not like to write until I've had a structure in place that's solid. What happens here, what happens there, what happens here, and how does it fold in on itself, like I was talking about with Curb. And once that's there, the writing feels so much more free. You can just run through it. What about the writing itself? Using software is fantastic. You can get Celtex, which is free, I think, and Amazon have a free one, and then there's Final Draft, which is like the high-end one. And they just help you with formatting, again, so that you don't have to worry about whether or not something is in the right place. It automatically does it for you so that you can concentrate on the story, the dialogue, the action. What about when you're trying to write something that's visually easy in your head, but like putting it into words is really difficult? Like say you want to write, a montage, and you'll suddenly think to yourself like, oh my god, how do I actually convert those images into words on a page? Well, the best thing to do is to find an example or think of one that you've seen in a film that's kind of similar, because of course that will exist. And then you find that screenplay and you see how they wrote it, and then kind of take some inspiration from that. What about doing things like directing from the page, like saying, we cut to the other side and we zoom in? Again, this is just a personal thing, how you write is going to be idiosyncratic and different for you and different for me. Also, it depends, maybe you're directing the script, so it is going to be more like a blueprint and more like directing from the page. For sure. Or maybe you are not going to direct it, and so you want to make it purely about writing, purely action and dialogue, and leave all the possibilities to a director that is not you. I mean, these things, you'll figure them out. Okay. You're done. There's just something not quite right with that.